Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Here's Zeus. You just got a peek at him. Today I'm doing the bookshelf book tag, which is a tag that allows for me to show you my bookshelves, talk a little bit about them in detail, instead of doing a bookshelf tour, which I have done several of in the past years. So this is just a different way to talk about my books and my bookshelves, which are my love. I feel like home is where the bookshelves are. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. I hope you enjoyed this video and hearing my answers to all of the questions. So let's get right into it. The first question is, how many bookshelves do you have? I own 4 bookshelves in here behind me. I also have 2 additional bookshelves that look like these in my office, and then I have 1 bookshelf in my bedroom. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to focus on these bookshelves that you see behind me. Second question is perhaps the most exciting one, because it's how many books are on your bookshelves, or how many books do you think you have? I just counted my books behind me. I thought that the number would be close to 500 books, but it turns out I own 388 books. So I guess that means I can now feel free to go out and buy 100 more books, and then I will be at the number I had expected. I'm not going to do that, obviously, but it's a good dream to have. I'm going to dream about that tonight. Out of those 388 books, I think about 50 of them are unread. And that's a pretty decent number. Come to think of it, I did just order a bunch of new books, so the number might be closer to 60 or 70, but at least it's not too large of a number. It's one I can comprehend and I feel okay about. Third question is, how do you organize your books? I organize my books according to height because I think it looks the neatest. I have tried organizing them according to genre and according to color and author, but I always end up organizing them according to height because it just looks the best. I like collecting all of my tall hardbacks together, and I like collecting all of my paperbacks together. It just looks the best and the most pleasant to my eyes. Question number 4 is, what is the oldest book on your bookshelf? This has to be the one. This is a beautiful collection of all of Shakespeare's works. So it contains his plays and his sonnets. I think it's gorgeous. This is the Oxford edition. It's one that I have inherited from my mother. She bought it as a student, so I believe this book is about 40 or 50 years old, maybe more like 40 years. It's definitely one of my oldest books on my shelves, and I cherish it a lot because now I can just go to this gorgeous book whenever I need to look up something in Shakespeare or whenever I want to read one of his works. And then question number 5 is, what is the newest book on your bookshelf? I regularly purchase new books for my shelves, but I think one of the newest ones is the one I'm currently reading, and that is this beauty right here, The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, something like that. It's a fantasy novel, and as I said, I'm currently reading it. I'm pretty far into it, so I will let you know how I feel towards it once I've finished it. But for now, I think it's one of the newest books on my shelves, even though that is going to change next week once my new purchase of books is going to come in. I'm excited for that. Are you? I'm definitely going to do 1 or 2 book hauls in the upcoming weeks. What is the longest book on your bookshelf? Well, you know I love big books, and I have quite a few long books on my shelves. Books that are over 500 pages, some are even over 1,000 pages. For instance, the one I'm going to show you now, which is also one of my most gorgeous books, and that is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas in this gorgeous Penguin cloth-bound classic edition. So this book is, as far as I remember, yes, it's about 1,200 pages. I haven't read it yet. It's not because I'm daunted by its length, it's because I just haven't gotten to it. That's the reason. It's also a classic, which is pretty daunting, so the size inspires me, but the content daunts me a little bit. And in contrast to that question, we have what is the shortest book on your bookshelf? And that is this one, Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot. This is a book about cats. I've already read it and I quite liked it. It is a peculiar book and it's one for you if you like cats. As you know, I do. I have my own cat, which you saw in the beginning of this video. He's cute 90% of the time, and then 10% of the time he is a bully and he is annoying. He wakes me up at 5 a.m. in the morning, but nevertheless I love him to pieces and I am a cat lover. So this is a pretty cute book for you if you are like me, and this one comes in at 56 pages. So that is quite a contrast between my shortest and my longest book on my bookshelves. Let's see what the next question is. What is the predominant genre on your bookshelf? I believe it is literary fiction, but I have never actually sat down and counted all of my books in each genre, so I couldn't say for sure. I know that I read a lot of different genres and I like to collect different genres, so there is a great mix-max of genres on my shelves, which I am happy about, but I do believe that my predominant genre is literary fiction, and that makes me happy because I love that genre, as you know from one of my previous videos. Question number 9 is, have you done a bookshelf tour? Yes, I have. I have done several, and I will put links to all of them down below in case you want to check them out. You will find that my bookshelves look different in each and every one of those bookshelves tours, and that's because my bookshelves change all the time. I get rid of books, I purchase new books, but I like how that reflects my changes in my reading. Go on a random number generator and talk about the book that corresponds with that number. Okay, and the number is 48, so let me just go find that book. That was a good book because it turned out to be The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov in this beautiful Russian vintage classic edition. This is a classic that I have read some years ago, but I was utterly confused, and while I was impressed and liked this book all in all, I think it's a book that I have to reread, and I don't mind. It's a book that is quite phenomenal because it's told from Devil's perspective, which I like the concept of, and it's a book that's got to do with religion, and that's all I remember. I also remember that it comes with cats, but clearly I was confused when reading this. So I'm a fan of this beautiful edition that inspires me to pick up this book and read it again eventually. Do you have fan merch or any other decorations on your bookshelf? I do have decorations because I like to keep some bookish items scattered around my shelves. For instance, I have this thing right here, which is a stamp with my name on it. You can't really see it, but it allows for me to personalize my books. I can use this stamp whenever I have finished a book and it gets my stamp of approval. And whenever I borrow out books, people will know that that is my book. I also have a mug with my bookmarks. I have some cats scattered around. Some of them I have inherited from my grandmother. So I have a few bits and bobs which I like to keep on my shelves, and they make for great variety between all the books, I think. I don't really own any fan merch. I rarely go to events that are about books and in which I receive merch, but nevertheless I do have these decorations, and I'm going to stick with these because I love them and I think they look pretty on my shelves. And then the last question is, show us your bookshelf. So I'm going to do exactly that right now. All I can say is enjoy the view. So that is it for this bookshelf book tag. I hope you enjoyed it. Until my next video, happy reading!